and welcome to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to try out the gouache paint set from Five Below. So I've already tried the jelly gouache one, which has gotten a little yucky, admittedly, and it's been a while since I've used these. I do want to say that I just had to wash this out. It's still wet because the lid is also a palette. The paint was still wet from that video while it was closed up, which I give it props for that. But I wanted to see how different they are, the jelly gouache versus the tube gouache paint. So let's give it a try. I'm sorry for the glare, but I did also get these washi tapes on Amazon. They were really cheap. I'll have to include it in editing, how cheap they were. But there's a bunch of them here. So right off the bat, as the box says, there are 24 total. Something I'm liking already with the kind of art I do. I'm not seeing any metallics, which is amazing. I have picked a few colors. I know I've got all of the colors that I could possibly need, but I decided to do a limited color palette. I apologize for all of the cat hair going on here today. They've been all over my desk lately. The other thing that I got from Amazon for this was some new paintbrushes. Just because I struggle to keep detail brushes nice and thin, probably because I get cheap ones like this. So it looks like it's just double of the exact same things, but that's okay. So it's 10 in 10 of the exact same thing, which is fine. I did a very sketchy sketch. I used a light box from a piece of printer paper to sketch this on, so it's very, very quick, very messy. But it's okay because these are opaque, which is the beautiful thing about gouache. If you don't know what gouache is, it's like a mixture of acrylic and watercolor together. So I think I'm going to do the background first and try and get that color right. I don't know if you can see over here in this corner, I was going to do a swatch sheet and then I decided not to. The way it breaks down in water was a little odd. It did break down, but it was like crumbly. All I'm doing right now is just getting my colors down with like a watercolory aspect. I'm just kind of planning out where everything's gonna go. So now I'm just gonna do the background now that I've got those planned out a little bit better. I'm not liking the way they're laying down thinly. I will say that. Maybe a little bit of a yellow to it. That's not too bad. They're more transparent than I would like them to be, but let's hope that I can layer. And I would also just like to mention, and it's not because I'm not huge on these paints, but I just wanted to thank my boyfriend really quick. He's a little bit reclusive to the channel. He's very supportive of me being on here, but he doesn't really want to be on camera with me or anything like that. But he did actually buy me these paints. They are $5-ish. It might be like $5 and change, but they're from Five Below is my point. But we were there for something else. I cannot remember what, because it's been a little bit. And he asked if I wanted to look at the art supplies section just to see if there was anything I needed, because he's thoughtful like that. And of course I can't say no to that question. What kind of person would I be? So we checked it out and I saw these and I thought it would be interesting, so he picked them up for me. So I just wanted to thank him and call him out just a little bit. With these lids, they're a little freaky. So this is one I haven't opened yet. They have the little pull tabs, but they also have the stabby lid. So I stabbed all of these, but I could have just pulled it off and it'd been so much cleaner, and I didn't realize that initially. And then you have the paint. It's a little silly, but I wanted to mention that while I thought about it. I think that's about as good as that leaf is gonna get. And then there's like a little dot of white right here. That's the best the background's gonna get because I'm tired of it. Let's jump into the bug. They are so transparent. I'm not super happy with these, to be honest with you. I've had to put so many, like, well, I guess like 3 thick layers of this red on. And while that's drying for a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and try and start the legs off, which are gonna be a little bit on the tricky side. So I'm just gonna try and jump into it. I've given up on the background. That looks awful. I might go a little OCD later and try and fix it. I don't hate this, but it just looks washed out and messy. But then the rest of it is supposed to be like a black background, except for a little bit up here. So I don't know. I really don't. So I've given this a chance to dry a little bit. Actually a lot of it, because the red, I had to go so thick just to get a base layer of that red. It was ridiculous. But with that being said, it dried so muted. Like I don't mind the matte. I like the matte. I don't like how dull it got. So we're gonna try and fix that up a little bit just on the bug, because he is so vibrant in the original photo. Which, by the way, the photo is from one of those free reference photo sites. One of those free reference photo pages on Facebook. Let's try and fix this light just a little bit.
Red. I want to see the red you were talking about.
See how like dull and not vibrant that is compared to that?
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of these paints, but it's okay. I want to do a do-over video with these at some point and just water them down severely and use them like watercolors.
Okay.
See how they take to that. Because they're opaque enough to not be watercolors, but they're dull enough to not be very good for what they're... So unfortunately, I think that's about as good as I'm gonna be. Actually, no, hang on. I've already got red on my brush to sign it, but there's something else I want to do. I messed up with that one little dot and I figured it's Halloween, so I just added some more. I realized as I already had the paint on my brush that I forgot this little spot on the back of his little body. And then I also need to touch that up a little bit. And I think that's about as good as we're gonna get. I hate this, but it's okay. So as far as similarities versus differences, these are the jelly gouache from Five Below. These are the gouache paint tubes from Five Below. I still like the jelly gouache better. There's far fewer colors, but there's a lot more paint per color. I think that there are there's 12 colors with the jelly gouache, and you are a little bit more limited because although this is a darker color, it's mostly pastels. But the formula of this is so much better than these. I do want to try and do a do-over with these, severely watered down, and see if I can't use them more like watercolors. Maybe on a different kind of watercolor paper, because I used the Strathmore watercolor travel journal for these. And when I had them real thinned out, they just did not want to blend. But with that being said, so with all that being said, this is the completed artwork. I took the tape off of the edges. So if you liked this art and you like my video, please feel free to like and subscribe. And don't forget to stay artsy. See y'all next week.